Welcome to A Simple Life. This is my morning routine. Now, it's a little later than normal, but it's also Sunday. So, just gonna do what I normally do during the week, but I do it on the weekend as well. And that is, I come up before I get ready for the day, like really ready for the day. I don't even eat breakfast. I just come up and I spend some time in the garden. I go through with my little basket for Christine, get some veggies, that kind of stuff, take stuff down to her. And I figured I would share kind of this routine because I found this routine to be incredibly relaxing and peaceful and something that really kind of set the whole tone for the rest of my day. And so what I'll come down and do is I'll water in new stuff, starts or something like this. We have some butter lettuce and some bib lettuce down here. I'll start prepping some beds. These beds have been watered in for about 3 or 4 days, so I'm actually pretty close to being ready to plant stuff in those. I'll go through, I'll pull stuff that's bolted, maybe do some snapping of some leaves on kale or beets or something like that if there's any leaf miners. And I'll go through and I'll harvest some tomatoes. Now, I'm trying to remember where I put my pruners. I just had them, I thought. All right, so we're going to harvest some tomatoes. Now, a lot of these tomatoes, as you're going to see, are cherry tomatoes. We do have some beefsteaks that are going to be picked, but I have a lot of like cherry tomatoes and stuff like that. So let's get started. So here's a cluster right here. It's almost completely ripe. We have one split. So that's got some bird poo on it. So we're just gonna take that bad boy off. So we're just gonna take this whole cluster at once right here. Dear Lord. So that whole cluster, it's ripe enough. We got one down there that's ripening. Put that in there for Christine. And take this little cluster down here. As you can see, we have quite a few of these clusters that are actually ready to go. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. All right, these are our Sweet Millions. This is the first year we grew this variety, and we're gonna take this whole bunch off if my little trimmers will do it. I don't think they will. I think I'm gonna have to actually get pruners. Let's see. Well, that worked, okay. All right, we got a couple splits in here. I've been trying to avoid getting splits. We got some that are still green. Some of these will ripen, but for the most part, it's time for this to come off. So with these clusters of Sweet Millions, they're really quite big clusters. We're going to try something that we hadn't tried, which is cut off the whole cluster, even with some green on there, to see how they ripen up. Part of the reason for doing that is I want to see if I sell a cluster of tomatoes with some green on there, if the consumer will have tomatoes going through the rest of the week. Meaning there's some that can be eaten today and some that can be eaten by Friday, if today is Monday. So that's something I want to test out. I want to see how it works for us, because without testing it, there's just no way to really know how that's going to end up working. We have so many of these beautiful clusters. As a matter of fact, it's actually time to come in and start taking some of my leaves back, so that way these clusters can get plenty of sunlight. And the leaves at this point, when they're this low, are not going to add a whole lot to the plant. All it's going to really do is block the sun. On top of blocking the sun, it's going to create restriction to the airflow. And so we don't want that. We want as much airflow around our good, yummy tomatoes and everything as possible. And so that's why I come in and I start pruning back these leaves. And I'll do this about once every week or two, depending on what the clusters are doing. I usually try to go up to where the clusters are at. So in this case, we have clusters all the way up here. I'm going to take all the leaves off all the way up to there, just so that way these tomatoes can start getting plenty of sunlight. And actually, a lot of these clusters just kind of started bearing fruit or showing fruit in the last 3 days or so. We've had some nice weather. It's been nice and calm, but we've had some nice weather. Matter of fact, we had about a ½ inch of rain last night. Now, in a greenhouse, it doesn't matter. You're not going to get that rain. But what's interesting is my leaves. I want to show you something, because there's been no rain in here, okay? There's been no rain, but look at my leaves. My tomato leaves have water on them. And that's just from them absorbing the moisture in the air. And then obviously, because it was cooler last night, probably a little bit of dew from the dew point, or the temperature might drop low enough to create some condensation. All right, let's get in here and we'll do a little bit more trimming and take back some of these leaves. There you go. Clean it up a little. All right, looks like we have some canning tomatoes. This cluster, there's some green on here, but this cluster I'm going to take because it is mostly ripe. And these we're going to try the same method where we're just going to put them on the counter and see if they'll ripen up. They get some sunlight. See how that works. Over with our beefsteaks, we have a lot of beefsteaks coming on, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut back some of these bottom leaves, the stuff that's just going to block the sun. So that way we can get some good, healthy tomatoes that have plenty of sunlight. Because we don't want to go through the whole season and have tomatoes that have been blocked from the sun the whole time, not been able to absorb any of those amazing sun rays. So my morning routines are nothing amazing, and I think that's the point. The point is to come up here and have a relaxing time. My day hasn't really started in the sense that I don't have work or responsibilities. I'm kind of up here. I haven't even eaten breakfast. I'm just out here enjoying my coffee. Yes, I drink a lot of coffee. And I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor. And that does mean sometimes I eat some of this stuff. And that's just that's my morning routine. Now let's go down as we're doing this. We're going to go down, pick some cucumbers, and then we'll come back and we'll get some pickling cucumbers. We'll take a look at some of the other stuff that's growing, see how it's doing, especially our broccoli behind us. It's doing amazing. And let me show you this, because this is exciting. I planted edamame about, I want to say, a month ago. And if you look, we're starting to get a bunch of little pods in here. Now, is this the exact place you want to plant edamame? Or if I wanted to plant a bush bean in here until I planted them. So we planted them and they're doing really good. A little section down there didn't take quite as well. You can see it's a little shorter, but everything else looks really healthy. And I haven't really done any amendments. I did a little bit of what we call weed juice early on, but since then I haven't done anything else. And so they're just taking off, growing in compost, well, like everything around here. So if you remember, I'm married to a Greek, and so Greeks love their cucumber and tomato salads. So I'm oftentimes making sure that I can bring a few yummy cucumbers home for Christine, because both Cecily and Christine love these cucumbers. So we have a lot of medium-sized ones, and to be honest, the medium-sized ones end up working out perfectly fine. We don't need massive cucumbers, because one of these is about the size of a cucumber salad that Christine would make in the evening for dinner or something like that. So I'm going to go through and see if we have anything that really, really needs to be picked. Well, that's enough for us for today, maybe tomorrow. All right, now we got some cucumbers. Let's take a look at some butter lettuce, and then we'll go up and get some pickling cucumbers, because, well, if they're ready to be picked for pickling cucumbers, we pick them, and then Christine pickles them over the course of the week. Let's go take a look at those guys. So we have our 60-day broccoli down there, and then we come through, and this is a 29-day broccoli, followed all the way through. This is all 29-day broccoli. It's called Happy, and then this is sweet bunch, and this is a 25-day broccoli. And they're doing really well, as you can see. So we're gonna get a couple of different sizes of cucumbers. We have the smaller size cucumbers like this. This is more of like your almost hors d'oeuvre size cucumber, and we like those as well for pickling. And then we have the bigger cucumbers, and let me see, I know there's a bunch in here because I haven't gone through here for a while. Oh, here you go. So we end up getting a mix. Now this one is almost turning yellow, so we got to be careful. As soon as they turn yellow, well, they become pig feed or goat feed because they become too bitter to want to process and turn into pickles. They just won't taste good. So we end up having a good range of pickle sizes, and Christine goes through and she sorts them, and we do this about once or twice a week, depending on what the flush looks like. And with as many flowers we have and as big as these things have gotten, that has not been a problem. We've had more than enough. Well, I think I got enough cucumbers for today. Let's go get Christine some lettuce and then maybe a cabbage, if we can find a good cabbage. But I think we can hold off on the cabbage, but let's just go check. Riptide lettuce along with some vet. I've been experimenting with the vet this last summer, and I haven't had a crazy ton of success with it. It's something I'm going to experiment a little bit more with. I thought it would get bigger, it didn't, so we're just gonna go with it and see what it wants to do, and then based off of that, we'll decide whether or not we grow it anymore. That's a lot of the stuff in here. We're just kind of experimenting, seeing how things take, how they do, and then go from there. We got some mustard greens right here. We'll take some of this, and this will continue to grow. Now this lettuce is a lettuce we've really fallen in love with, we really like, and I cannot remember the name of it. I still have the packet, and we will be growing more of it because it's been absolutely delicious. And it actually grows back, so that's why I'm not gonna cut the whole thing down because it'll grow back. We got some mustard greens, we got some lettuce mix. Got some butter lettuce down here. Let's get one of these. I know we have a little, so I'm not gonna get a big one, we'll just take a little one. Oh, here you go. We'll take this little guy right here. Cut it off. There you go, perfect. There's some Swiss chard over here, and then we have a lot of turnips and some 45-day cabbage, which actually we've already harvested one of those. I made the mistake of planting them too close together. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that one again. I also planted way too many turnips, and you know, it's one of those things. Once you do it, try not to do it again, you know. All right, let's get this lettuce in there. So, to wake up in the morning and make a haul like this, I'm not gonna complain, especially since this is kind of one of those routines I have. Now, other mornings we'll come in and I'll plant some seed blocks. We have some bunching onions, some warm tolerant romaine, and this is Riptide again, which is a smaller kind of lettuce or leaf green. Some of the lettuces, Bib lettuce, romaine, I'm getting hit and miss with propagation. Now, I understand why I'm getting that. It has nothing to do with the seeds. The seeds are fine. It's the fact that I'm doing it in here and I don't really have as controlled of an environment as I'd like to have when it comes to propagating seeds or getting seeds to germinate. But in the future, we'll sort some of that stuff out, but not today. But yeah, so some mornings I come in, I start plants, I water plants, prep a bed, make some soil blocks, do that kind of stuff. And then I go home, I get ready for the day. I better say hi to the cat because the cat has been following me around the whole entire morning, waiting for pets. And I haven't been giving her pets. Now she's frisky. We play a whole little game where she acts like she doesn't want her butt scratched. And then I scratch her butt. And then she gets all mad about it. All right, thank you for joining us. And I say yes because me and the cat on A Simple Life today. We'll see you guys very soon. Have a good one.